How you guys doing? This is Quentin Horton with Secrets to Sexy. Now, this is my first YouTube videos. You might hear a few uhs and ahs because, we're supposed to have streamlined thoughts, but this is mostly improv. This is mostly coming off of how I feel, how I think. Not too scripted. I have some bullet points, but it's not super crazy. The first thing I want to address is, who I am, why I'm here, and what I plan on doing on my channel. My name is Quentin Horton. I am born and raised Compton, California. Went to Cal State Dominguez University, got my marketing degree, was in the wireless industry for a while, selling phones and having muscle still. They're like, why are you a buff wireless cell phone guy? Whatever. It was a day job. It was good. It was cool when it was cool, and it was not when it wasn't. But long story short, I got into sales. I met a lot of people, spoke to a lot of people, was able to gather a lot of different experience from all walks of life, rich, poor, regular people, you name it. And then I started jumping into my passion for fitness, and I wanted to become an entrepreneur, which is why I started the company Secrets to Sexy with my partner, Mr. Aaron Curry. Mr. Aaron Curry came up with the name. The name is dope. The reason why we came up with that name is because we wanted that name to be bigger than just fitness. We wanted the name Secrets to Sexy to be more about a lifestyle movement, kind of like for the person that wants to come in and reinvent their life. They want to make it sexier. So yes, Secrets to Sexy when it comes to fitness, absolutely. Strategies for fitness, strategies for nutrition, strategies for different workout splits and all of those technical terms that fit into fitness. We will address certain concepts with that too, because that's extremely important. So this is somewhat of a fitness page, but more so than a fitness page, it's a life page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the principles that I've learned from fitness and I'm going to apply it to real life, because I think that, from people that do not work out in the gym, they kind of look at us as like, oh, okay, these are just some meatheads that know how to lift weights. But what they don't understand is that in that action of self-care, we've learned a lot of principles and we've learned a lot of values that we take to other areas of our life. So I'm going to share some of those with you. And for today, what I'm going to share is how I've learned personally how the importance of self-care, how important that is for entering a relationship with a partner. And the reason why it's important is because, for example, there's a difference between dating and building together, right? If you're dating, you guys get to hang out, go have dinner, have fun, and do whatever else you want to do, like what we do. And at the end of the day, you're still building separate, and that person's building separate. Now, when you come together as partners and you're now building together, this is different. This is a lot different, because now you're combining resources, you're combining your networks, you're combining your traumas, you're combining your degree of self-care, your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health, and your financial health. It's a big deal. And I've been in over 15 years of relationship experience, and I've learned so many parallels from fitness, the things I've learned in the gym and working out, and the things I've done in my fitness career, and in relationships. And some of the things I've learned, I'll go over right now. Consistency, persistency, being honest. Because one thing about fitness that's different from other parts of your life is you can't lie about running 5 miles, the day before yesterday, if you're going to be weighed, today. So, and what I've learned, in other words, is you can't cheat physicality. Either you did the exercises, ate right, or you didn't, because we have a way to measure if your body is changing. It's a physical thing. It's a very tangible thing that we can prove, where we can exploit or promote whatever habits that you've had, whether you've been eating healthy or not. I have a way to verify that. In fact, in my years of being a trainer, the people who were not doing what they're supposed to do, every time I drop a scale down on the ground to weigh them, I know right offhand they didn't listen to what I asked them to do, because a confident person that knows that they followed the plan and that they had integrity, they're going to step on the scale like, I know I did what I did. I know I dropped 3 pounds. So, but when you haven't, the nervousness comes. He's like, oh, there's verification for this. Like this, I can't really lie my way to fitness. And that's what I loved about fitness, is that it really groomed my integrity. Whereas like, I can't pretend like I'm doing something that I'm not doing. So with that being said, that transferred to myself in relationships. And not to say that I had a perfect amount of integrity. No human being does. I've done a lot of dumb things. I've been through it all. I look back at some things I've done. I'm like, well, why the hell did I do this? But anyway, I still believed in the principle of integrity, and it was still something that I was working towards. Versus, some people are like, integrity, I do what I want when I feel, and I don't do what I want when I don't feel it. It don't matter if the integrity is intact or not. So my personal belief, and the main thing I want to discuss in this video, is that if you're not taking care of yourself well, you probably can't take care of a partner well. And I'm going to get very, very, very specific on exactly what I mean about this, so that there's no, misconstruing of concepts and what I'm trying to get at in this video. So there's four things. 4 things I like to focus on now at this point in my life. I didn't always focus on it, but this year, going through being single and stuff like that, I was able to reevaluate myself, and I realized that I have to change my philosophy about what it takes to want to be or be ready to be a partner in a relationship. It takes you taking care of yourself to a certain level where now you are equipped to build with someone, if that makes sense. And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you want, I think a lot of people are entering relationships and they're not doing that inventory check. They're not checking to make sure that their mental health is where it needs to be, right? They're not doing the therapy. They're not reading up on their traumas and making sure that they have compartmentalized and processed some of the things they've gone through as a child, whether it's bullying or abuse, whatever it may be. They're not necessarily doing that. They're touching it a little bit, but it's like, are you sure that your mental health is intact? They're not making sure, some people, not all people, that they are taking care of their physical body with the way that they eat, the way that they drink, sleep, workout, their workout habits and stuff like that. They're not doing that. And then there's people that are not keeping their spiritual health intact, reading the Word of God, making sure that you're actually connecting with Him, meditating, praying. And I think that we just live in a world that only believes in tangibles. We don't believe in the intangible, but the truth is, most of our world is in the invisible world. Most of the things around us we can't see. And even if we can see it, it's just a projection of something that's invisible. I'll give you a perfect example. There's a couch right next to me, right? It's a couch, but it's made up of atoms that I can't see. And so really, the atoms are real, and it's just a manifestation or projection, and it's just projecting a couch, but it's actually made up of atoms. And that's the way God works, in the sense of a lot of what He does and a lot of the energy that He brings is completely intangible. It's not something that I can point out and say, there's God right there. It doesn't work like that. Spiritual energy is about the invisible world, and you take that invisible world and you manifest it into something that's visible. And so, for example, we've heard millions of stories about people that had dreams and goals. They usually visualized it first, which is invisible. We can't see your thoughts. We can't paint a picture of what you're thinking about. But they visualized it, they obsessed about it, and then all of a sudden those things they were obsessing about turned from the invisible world into the visible world. And so, with that being said, that's your spiritual health, right? I believe we live in a world that doesn't focus enough on spiritual health, doesn't focus enough on mental health, doesn't focus enough on physical health. But we jump in a relationship with someone who makes us feel good enough for the time being, right? That's the lust phase, the romantic phase. They make us feel like, you the shit, you got your stuff together, right? But as the relationship progresses and you peel back the layers and you get to see the contents of a person's character, you start to notice a lot of deficiencies. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you had those problems, right? And so I'm sure people I'm talking to, whoever see this video, have been through stuff like that. And the reason why that is because we all know how to have those first 2 layers, tight. We know how to be the best versions of ourselves for pretend, right? But as you build with someone and you peel back the layers, that person gets to see who you really are, because you can't hold up an act forever. So what I'm saying is, what I learned from fitness is that if I don't take care of my wellness enough, and if you don't take care of your wellness enough, we're talking about spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. If those 4 things aren't at least decent, we're not talking about perfect. We don't need you to be a millionaire. We don't need you to be shredded or nothing like that. But the values of, physical health, believing in eating well, believing in working out, and actually executing that on a normal basis. Not perfect, but consistent. The mental health part, the therapist, if you need it, or at least practices to make sure that your mental health is intact. Meditating, praying, spiritual health. If you're not doing these things consistently where you are grounded, then in my opinion, you're not ready to build with someone long term. Because what's going to happen is, it's like a person hopping in the car looks nice on the outside, it's a Ferrari, it's fly, but there's a missing transmission. So when they try to take off and drive with it, they're like, why does it sound like this? Like, why is it not running? Like, what's going on? You can't have parts missing in your luxury vehicle, as we call our vessel. So what I've learned from fitness and today's lesson is, before you want to build with someone, I'm not talking about dating. Dating is just, hey, we enjoy each other's energy and we do what we do. I'll see you next Saturday, bing, bang, shaboom. That's cool, because I think that dating allows you to learn more about yourself. I'm talking about when you go from dating to, I want to build with you. It's time to build together. When you build together, you're going to put together your network, your family's going to come together, your finances are going to come together, and again, your trauma is going to come together if you don't work on those things. So, lesson for today, at least we'll call it the 85% rule for today. That's what I'm going to title this video. 85% is the level you should be at when it comes to your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, your financial health. Those are the things that I would urge you to do if you want the best chances to build well with someone. But also, not just for yourself, look into your partner, and no matter how much you like them, make sure that they're checking off those same boxes so that you guys are equally yoked. And I think if you can do those things, then we'll have just such a better time and an easier time, building with someone, because we know that we're on equal footing, and we know that, the path that we're going on feels like a reliable path. It feels sturdy. It doesn't feel like, well, she's missing a bunch of boxes, but I'm gonna try anyway. It's like, no, when you want to build with somebody, we talking about putting a ring or moving in, you need to know that you can trust this person's mental health. You need to know that you can trust this person's spiritual health. You need to know that, they do well with finances and stuff. And I think that applies to even myself. I am not exempt from that. Not perfect. And I know that I need to get myself to a point where I check all of those boxes at 85% before I even think about building with someone. But once you got that down pat, now you're ready for a partner. Don't just jump in and build with someone just because you like them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because building with someone goes beyond just liking someone. Building with someone is very spiritual. It's very serious. It's going to heavily dictate your destiny. And so just like the gym, where I had to learn how to love myself more, how to be consistent and ride from my own health and my own mental health and make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do so that I can get the results, is the same thing we have to do as a prerequisite before we enter and try to build with someone else. Guys, I hope you guys like this video. I know it's a little long-winded. It's my first one. Hope you like it. Please hit the notification buttons. Please subscribe. I will be going over fitness techniques as well, things that I've learned about life that kind of, applies to the gym, things I've learned from fitness, and other topics, maybe current events and stuff like that. If it's relevant to this page, I'll address that too. Guys, again, this is Quentin Horton, Secrets to Sexy. You guys take care. God bless.